I'm outside today in my greenhouse. I ended up feeling pretty good last week after that whole issue with whatever happened on Monday. I ended up feeling okay the rest of the week. But anyway, so I'm out in the greenhouse today. Let me show you this kale plant. I did not water this thing all winter and it's alive. It's kind of crazy. So if you can see these little things, they're getting ready to make flowers. So I guess since these kales survived a whole year, they're old enough to put out flowers and make seeds. So I might collect those seeds. These are all cuttings I'm trying to make new plants with. We got hydrangea. What is this? A willow. Oh, it's a weeping cherry, I think it's called. And what are these? Elderberry. And then you can see my plants in the garden. I guess all those mushrooms mean the soil's really good. I didn't plant those. Oh, and there's a cat. Hi, Sydney. Okay, anyway, so this is what we got going on in here. All my plants are doing well. Hanging out here. Those are different sunflowers. And of course, tomatoes. This looks like zinnias. And these are all the fruit tree cuttings I had. So they've been doing good out here. Okay, so last night, I was reading something about Saint Bernadette. You got more water? You helping do the chickens? Yeah. And Saint Bernadette, there's a really neat miracle in Lourdes, France, if you want to look up Our Lady of Lourdes. But Saint Bernadette was a young girl who Mary appeared to. And when I was sick, really sick, let's see, when I first got pregnant in like October, November, my husband ran into the sisters at our church and they gave him Our Lady of Lourdes water. It's notorious for having miraculous healings, not just physical, but spiritual, emotional healings as well. And I love Our Lady, so I researched this miracle and I really love the story and all the history behind the miracle. But all that to say, so I was researching about Saint Bernadette, and she had cholera when she was a little girl, and from then on she had chronic asthma. Well, I was looking at cholera can cause, I don't know if it destroys part of the small intestines, but it negatively affects the small intestines. And it was interesting to me that, this whole GAPS diet is about all diseases begin in the gut. And a year or two ago, at least a year ago, I was dealing with SIBO, S-I-B-O, small intestines bowel, bacterial, small intestines bacterial overgrowth. And I would try to eat a fermented food and my stomach would feel like it was just on fire. Not my stomach, but right like here, right where your small intestines is, would just feel super inflamed and like irritated all night. I'm trying to think of other symptoms. Like after you eat, you might have a hard time feeling like you're just not digesting your food. And it doesn't feel like it's in your stomach. It feels like it's farther down. So I thought that was interesting that I have had these breathing problems and I had been dealing with small intestines issues before this. So you might be wondering how how does your small intestines have a bad bacterial overgrowth? So there's a few things I was thinking about that would be interesting to learn. So your stomach makes stomach acid and a few other things that reside in your stomach to digest food. Your liver and pancreas make a lot of the other enzymes and bile that end up going into your small intestines to to finish, you know, the digestion part there. So if your liver is congested and not making enough bile, the pH, the acidity level of your small intestines, and if your stomach's not making the right enzymes, that will also affect the small intestines, because that's kind of next in line. So if the pH isn't right, you're going to have the bad bacteria growing prolifically, because that's just how they thrive. The good bacteria aren't able to kind of come back and survive in that area because of the wrong environment for those bacteria. Hence why you get a intestinal bacterial overgrowth of the bad stuff. Anyways, so part of me wonders if that SIBO and liver congestion has caused this asthma-like symptom that I have. It almost feels even like, I don't have COPD, I know, but it does feel, it's like I can't get a full breath at times. So it's encouraging to me that when I was reading about St. Bernadette last night, that maybe all diseases do begin in the gut. If she had this bacterial disease that affects the small intestines, and then she had respiratory problems. Here's my kales that overwintered. They're also trying to go to seed, if you can see all those little buds. But we're gonna make kale chips tonight with tiny little kales. This is like the best time to harvest greens from me, because we have issues with pests and cabbage flies, which put caterpillars all over your plants. And I'm not a fan of eating caterpillars. Our kids have accidentally done it by coming down and just grabbing broccoli. And later I was gonna harvest some for dinner, and I was like, did you guys just eat that? And they're like, yeah, we just ate a handful of caterpillars. But that's okay. We're probably one of the few cultures in the world that doesn't eat insects, so I didn't worry about it too much. All right, here's a nice turnip in the ground. That's probably a good size for picking. That's a radish. I always think they're turnips. It's pretty spicy, so I leave them in there until one of our grandmas comes, because she really likes radishes. This looks like an old one. Maybe this will go to seed. And then I picked those for her. Oh, that's a big one, you can see. These are onions from last year. Onions do really good if the temperature stays consistent. I've always had a hard time because I plant them too late, and then it gets hot and then they go to seed. But since these overwintered, and I planted some tiny ones over there, I'm hoping they won't bolt on me and they'll stay putting their energy into growing. Hi, Heidi. Heidi. Okay. There's all the piglets. You can see they're getting pretty big. I'm missing one. I don't know. Oh, that was nice for you to show off. Oh my gosh. They're hilarious. That's so funny. Babies. Here's some of our carrot seedlings. Oh, there we go. All these little ones. Where are we? Right here. That's a carrot seed. There's a whole bunch. I made these slug traps. This did have milk in it. You could use beer. It looks like they work. I just planted my kales. You can see that they're getting eaten up. So, thankfully, I actually tried something for once. Oh, that one's still getting eaten up. Those are small. Anyway. Yeah, so I might put the slug trap over there. But it's catching slugs. So I'm excited that it worked. I guess today is a day of spinning in circles. Alright, so here's the kale that we picked this morning, and I just put lard all over the pan, or bacon grease if it's a good quality sugar-free, nitrate-free bacon. And then I'm just like taking these little leaves And since they're little, I'm not going to de-stem them. And you know, like rubbing them in the lard like this. And then when I'm done, I'll sprinkle salt on them. And I'm gonna bake them at like 400. I'm gonna keep a close eye on them since they're so skinny, but at least 20 minutes. These stones take a while to heat up, and they'll be like crispy little kale chips, which our kids love the salty bite of a kale chip. So they'll be excited tonight. Kale chips.
Good. Good.
Good?
I already ate all
I was gonna say, it looks like the first thing you guys ate.
Mine too. Dad.
Mary, let me see you. You like them? Yeah?